All right, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, Nico. Hello to you as well. Let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? I forgot to even hit the button, my bad. Yes, this seems right. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another Jujutsu Kaisen read-through. Today, we are going to be going through Volume 12 of the series, and yes, that is Mei, and see where the story leaves us with Yuji and Megumi after their fight with Awasaka. Because just to give you a little bit of recap that was going on, Yuji pretty much let everyone know that Gojo was sealed. Nanami decided to go off on his own while Ino, Megumi, and Yuji went off to go see who was putting the outer curtain that was not letting the rest of the Jujutsu sorcerers get in. So they went there. We saw an old lady who has the ability to change her face or transmogrify different people. Not like that of Mahito, but she's able to change her appearance and turn puppets into other people. And then she takes in children for the use of her own needs. Because the guy that's with her, that is not her actual grandchild, even though the guy calls her grandma. She just takes kids and uses them as tools for her own ends. Hold on. There we go. So you guys can see my face. And then we see this Awasaka guy who is a hired hitman. And he has the ability of inverse, which makes powerful attacks weaker when they hit him, and weak attacks stronger when they hit him. But it wasn't until the last bit of the fight between him, Yuji, and Megumi, where the two latter find out what his ability is, use it against him, and it ends the last volume with Yuji punching Awasaka. So now we get to see what's in store for us in Volume 12. The Shibuya Incident. Summon. So we got chapters 98 through 106. The Shibuya Incident continues. There's 24 parts to the Shibuya Incident. This is something else. Chapter 98, The Shibuya Incident, Part 16. And Yuji. And it shows a panel in the first chapter where the two tools that are used to keep the curtain up, they both shatter, and the curtain starts to rise out of Shibuya. And Megumi's watching, and Yuji's all like, huh? The curtain that went out was the last one that doesn't let sorcerers enter, right? But we broke all three, including the one Ino broke. And then Megumi says, oh, and the time is 10:04. All this has happened within an hour. So much has happened within an hour. 10:04 p.m., Metropolitan Expressway route of the Shibuya line in front of the C Tower. The curtain that went out was the one that doesn't let sorcerers enter, right? But we broke all three, including the one Ino broke. Then they either used all three for one curtain or two of them were dummies. Anyway, sorcerers can now move freely in Shibuya. And now it shows that Yuji and Megumi are in the center, while it shows the curtain trapping Satoru Gojo is on the outside, and the curtains trapping the civilians are around the area where Yuji and Megumi are in. I have some questions for this geezer, but he's not waking up anytime soon. We need to meet up with Ino. And then Yuji and Megumi look up, and they see a body falling off of the roof. Ino! And then he sends out his new Shikigami that catches him. And Yuji catches him. And then he looks at Ino's face. But we don't get a look at Ino's face. And his face is just filled with shock. And then it cuts back to the old lady up top who turned her grandchild into that of Toji Zenin. There goes the curtain. What now, Grandma? What now?
Satoru Gojo still isn't around. It's not a problem. You go down and keep killing sorcerers.
And then the guy doesn't say anything. And then the grandma oh something. I forgot her name. Hold on. Does it say here? It does not. I forgot her name.
Grandchild?
Hey, old hag. Who the heck do you think you're giving orders to? And then the grandma gets surprised by this and she jumps away.
What's going on? I only summoned the body's information.
Summon? Oh, gotcha.
My rule is never to summon the soul's information to avoid this exact worst case scenario.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but my body's special. I'd say this guy's soul lost to my body.
The soul lost to the body? It's not possible.
Kill sorcerers, huh? I guess that includes you. And then... Okay, so apparently when she tried to transfer the body makeup of Toji Zenin over that of her grandchild, the soul of Toji Zenin was transferred as well, and he's overwritten the guy, and then he proceeds to punch old grandma in the face, and you just see a spray of blood in one panel, and her beads falling off in the other. Then it cuts back to Yuji and Megumi. How is he? Can't say. He's okay, but he's not dead. I'm gonna go get some payback. Itadori! I get it, but calm down. Think about our priority. Gojo-sensei. The curtain's gone, and those guys up there might have already fled. We have to get Ino out of here. And then Yuji is still upset because he wants to go fight the people that did whatever they did to Ino, but he just blows and they says, I'll leave Ino to you. I'm heading to the station. Right. That's actually the best move. But going at it alone in Shibuya right now. And this is Megumi thinking this to himself. Fine. But if you die, I'll kill you, right? And then he just goes, huh. No worries, dude. I got Mekamaru with me. Although Mekamaru hasn't been responding for a while. Don't you forget it. I'll see you later. And then Yuji just says, right, as Megumi pulls up his Nue Shikigami in order to fly off. 9:44 p.m., Tokyo Metro Shibuya Station near Exit 13 outside of the curtain, Nanami discovers Ijichi. And he just stands and he sees Ijichi. Then, 10:02 p.m., Tokyo Metro between Meiji Jingumai and Shibuya. And it shows Ui watching his sister fight those two curse users that were inside of the tunnel before they separated from Yuji. You know what my curse technique is, don't you? It's the ability to control crows. That's it. Pretty weak, right? Because of that, I trained as hard as I could when I was young, to be effective even without a cursed technique. It was worth it. Now I can stand here and say I dominated you because of it.
Wait, I'll leave. So, just please...
Quiet. And then Ui says,
Quiet! My sister is still speaking.
As I told myself, and this is Mei. As I told myself, that a sorcerer's worth isn't determined by their cursed technique. But then I reached my limit. Improving physical abilities and enhancing one's body using cursed energy. It's not like you can keep doing those things forever. I was crushed, but because of that, I was able to go back at my master and master my curse technique. And I bloomed into the grade 1 sorcerer I am today. And then Ui is just clapping his hands like, beautiful, beautiful. And then he looks over, and then Ui looks over at the curse user and he goes, applaud. And then the curse user nervously starts applauding. This is a tense situation, but it's also really funny. Okay, time to die.
What?
I just wanted to kill some time by talking.
I'm so sorry. I'll stop making trouble. Please spare my life.
Ui, do you know what a person's life is worth? And then Ui goes,
of course. Its value is proportional to how useful that life is to you, sister.
Thanks. And you? Do you know?
Huh?
Well,
That you, a murderer, can't immediately answer that question is why you lose. By the way, service potential is life itself for me. And she says this while she splits the guy's head straight down the middle. As soon as she's talking to him and he's trying to think of the answer, she brings her big old axe down on his head. Service potential is life itself for me. And then we have some information about service potential. Service potential is the future benefits that an asset can be expected to bring. This concept is not applicable to humans. Probably. And then Mei Mei looks off to the side, and I guess she knows that the curtain is up as Uyu goes, "Sister, yeah, it seems like the curtain has been lifted. Just thinking about how much doing a favor for Satoru Gojo is going to cost him gets my heart racing." And then it cuts to Gato as he goes, "Quicker than I thought." 9:40 p.m., Shoto Bunkamura Street outside the curtain. It cuts to the woman that was traveling with them because of the cursed bridge incident and Nobara. "Oh, a girl this time. I'm so happy," it says the guy with the sword with a hand for a handle. "I was getting tired of running into guys."
Hide, Nita, I'll end this quickly.
Nita, that's her name. Oh wait, she doesn't say Haida. She doesn't say Hide. She just says hide. I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed. How did I confuse hide with Hide? But Nobara says,
Hi, Nita, I'll end this quickly.
and that's the end of chapter 98. Onwards to chapter 99. And then we get an explanation of what the capsule the guy was using in the previous volume. Also, if you guys want to see what I'm reading, either go to the official site on Viz or the website of your choice. But as I always say, support the official release. Now, we get an explanation of the capsule the grandchild took in the last volume, but it was never fully explained. Here it is, the object the grandchild swallowed. A capsule is required for Grana Ogami's seance technique. This one contained the remains of Toji Zenin, so it must have been difficult to obtain. Despite his misfit status, Papaguro is still a member of one of the big three Jujutsu families. The reason Grandma Ogami refers to him as Zenin and not Fushiguro when summoning is because invoking the name used by the person at the height of their power is more effective in necromancy. So now we have an explanation of how that works. Chapter 99, the Shibuya Incident, Part 17. I never have been and never will be frustrated by my own uselessness in the face of the evils of this world. And he's thinking, I'm just in the face of the evils of this world. So it cuts back to the kid that used to work with Nanami, and then it cuts back to him looking at Ijichi, and then he just says, how dare they? Chapter 99, the Shibuya Incident, Part 17, and we cut back to under in the subway where the transmogrified humans are still running amok, and one gets sliced completely through. And then it cuts to Maki.
Ijichi? It sounded like he was attacked while calling Nita, and it was probably after he split up with Fushiguro's group, so if he's alone, it could be bad news,
says Nobara.
Nobara, you take Akari with you to Ichichi's location. We can assume that idiot Satoru wouldn't lose, but this situation is starting to feel off. We can't use our phones. The assistant managers are critical. I'll take care of things here for now. That geezer's no help.
And it cuts to one of the head Zenin families, and he's just sitting off to the side for some reason.
Hey, Booze.
Ignore him. Being out of the buildings and outside the curtain probably makes it easier to run away when it comes down to it.
And then it cuts back to Nobara and Nita in face of this one guy. I'm so happy, I was getting tired of only running into guys.
Hide, Nita. I'll end this quickly, says Nobara. Pretend like you're hiding in Bunkamura, but then go through Tokyo.
And so apparently she's gonna hide in order for her to get away from Nobara and the other guy.
Judging by what he's saying, he's probably took down Ichichi. We have to hurry. Right. Don't overdo it, Kujisaki.
Whispering? About what, I wonder? And then he takes the sword in his hand and swings it down, and then he throws it at Nobara, who slams it away with her hammer. And then the guy looks at Nita running as he goes, sheesh, are you hiding?
Using a cursed tool, even if you possess a cursed technique, usually means you're a mid-range fighter. Time to get in there. Are you some kind of idiot throwing away your weapon like that?
And then it shows Nobara trying to hit the guy, but she misses. And he goes, we've met before, haven't we?
Nope, don't think so.
She remembers. Then it cuts back to Nita running through the building past them.
Huh?
So she's not actually hiding. And then it shows the sword behind Nita, as apparently it's capable of moving on its own. It's able to move. The hand can move because it shows the hand gripping onto a side of a door behind Nita. And then it shows the guy running to where Nita is, and Nobara chases him. And then it shows Nita on the ground as the guy prepares to kick her. And she's actually been sliced in the arm and maybe across the midsection from what this panel shows. And it shows the guy about to kick her as Nobara goes, Nita! And then the guy completely kicks her.
Why you?
And then the guy gets a sword in his hand.
What? Isn't that the sword that got dropped before? Why did it fall from above?
And then Nobara stops, but she gets slashed in the leg.
A shallow cut?
And then the sword comes careening in front of her face and then hits her in the jaw. And then she falls to the ground.
This guy keeps hitting his intended targets with precision.
Got your brain rattled? Can't stand up? Hey, can you stand up? Hey, you gotten a lot stronger since we last met, haven't you? I barely recognized you. But we don't live in a world where you win just by being strong, especially when you're up against my cursed technique. That said, I'm not exactly sure what my technique is about either. Now then, who to kill first?
Need to talk. Buy some time. What are you guys after?
Dunno. They said it has something to do with sealing Satoru Gojo.
But what about you?
Oh, me? Think about this. What if a person who loves soccer were to be born into a world where it didn't exist? No, wait, that's a bad analogy. Anyway, who cares about a reason? This is so great, it's so much fun! And that's all that matters, that we're having fun! And the guy is crazy. The guy's crazy. Don't you think so? As he stabs into the shoulder of Nita.
Stop it!
Make me. Stop me from committing any more shins? Oh, oops, bit my tongue. Oh, he was trying to say sins, but he said shins. I thought I misspoke there for a minute. Stop me from committing more shins. Oops, bit my tongue. And then Nobara struggles to get up. Sorry, my throat. And then Nobara starts to get up more, and then the guy says, look at you, you can barely stand. And then it shows him trying to hit Nobara. And then before either one of them can make a move, we see someone with some well-dressed shoes walking in over across some broken glass. And then in comes the man. The man who at one point didn't see Yuji as a jujutsu sorcerer until the events of the transfigured humans in Mahito. The man that saved that one lady from the bakery because she had a cursed spirit around her. The man It's always something going on in the background. As the man who came in and always sees Satoru Gojo as an annoyance sometimes, the man who walks into the hallway is Nanami. And the guy who's fighting Nobara and Nita goes, I can't remember. Is it okay for me to kill people who aren't in black suits too? And that's the end of chapter 99. And then we get some more explanations. Scenes I was planning to address but forgot about until now, part 2. Kujisaki's hammer changes shape. There's no meaning behind it. Oh, and I also keep forgetting to draw Nanami's watch, but rest assured that he's working overtime in Shibuya. But that's the end of chapter 99. Onwards to chapter 100, the Shibuya Incident, part 18. Whew. I can't remember. Is it okay for me to kill people who aren't in black suits too? And then Nanami takes his tie off and wraps it around his fists.
He came to Shibuya with Fushiguro. Nanami?
And then Nanami just starts walking.
Hey, can't you read the situation here? What are you moving around for? I got this girl here,
And then he tries to slash down where Nita is, and Nita has apparently crawled away from where this guy is. Huh? Oops, and Nita has managed to climb up an escalator.
She got away.
And then Nanami just goes, where are the others? And how many are there? And then the guy tries to slash at Nanami, and he just goes, don't know. And then he tries to kick Nanami, but then a giant stone wall erupts in front of him before he can do anything. Oh no, that's a facsimile of him trying to kick Nanami, but Nanami didn't even move.
Huh? He didn't even budge. It didn't even feel like I kicked a person. Also, he's not cut.
Where? And how many? And Nanami grabs him by the leg. And then the guy just says, done. And before he can say anything, Nanami's curse technique sends this guy flying into a nearby wall. And the guy gets up and he just starts bleeding profusely. Yo, Nanami just backhanded this dude. I love it. And Nobara couldn't even see what just happened because the dude just went flying past her faster than she could respond. And the guy gets up and he starts coughing up blood as he thinks, I should have died. If it weren't for my curse technique, I'd be dead. I need to run. And before he can even move, Nanami is right next to him, grabbing him by the hair, going, where and how many? I said I don't. And before he can say the word no, Nanami plants a punch square in his solar plexus and craters the wall that he's in, causing him to cough up even more blood. Then the hand sword that's been around starts moving, and it tries to go in the direction of this guy, and it tries to stab in the direction. Tries to stab in. Yo, Ravi, welcome. We just hit chapter 100, so I've already been through 2 chapters already. There's quite a few chapters to go through in this whole volume. I might actually get through this pretty quickly because it doesn't feel as thick as the other ones I went through. But Nanami has showed up, and he's just bodying this curse user that's cut into Nita and has been messing with Nobara. And the dude tried to kick Nanami, but it was as if he was kicking a stone wall, and Nanami didn't even budge from the kick. He tried to cut him, and there isn't even a cut left on him. And then he's only asking this guy one question: where are the others, and how many are there? And when the guy refuses to speak, Nanami has just been throwing this guy around the room. But as the hand sword tries to stab where Nanami is, it gets pinned to a wall by a nail. Nobara's nail.
Not on my watch, as it stands pinned there.
Hey, don't get in my way! And then Nanami proceeds to grab the guy by the throat. And then Nanami holds him up going, the whole scene is so satisfying. It is, Nico, it is! And these next few words get me these next few words, I'm enjoying them as he goes, on my way here, I ran into several dead assistant managers. It was you, correct? And then the guy starts getting scared, and he goes, I'm sorry. And then we see the curse technique of Nanami, and we just see, wow, Nanami punched that dude straight through one building and into another. And Nobara's just watching as we see the guy, and I still can't remember his name. We see the guy embedded into a distant wall. And then Nanami, without even a single scratch on him, just casually walks by. And then Nobara's thinking,
He's on another level, so this is what it means to be a grade 1 sorcerer.
And then it cuts to Nanami just simply going, let's go find Nita. And then it cuts to what appears to be Yuji running by himself. And then he's running and he sees someone down. He sees a ton of transfigured humans out in the streets of Shibuya, since he's able to get inside now, as he goes, there's so many of them! I can't just leave them, but there's not enough time to save everyone. Darn it, what should I do? The station, Gojo-sensei, is so close.
Spice Cod Row.
Oh, it's Inumaki! Those words! It's Inumaki! Inumaki-senpai!
Salmon.
I love Inumaki, even though he only ever really says different types of foods. I love this dude! Inumaki-senpai!
Salmon.
You're up, senpai!
Salmon.
And then he has like this megaphone in his hands, and he pulls his scarf down, and he just goes, don't move. 10 p.m., Yuji Itadori enters Shibuya Station, and we come face to face with Choso. And that's the end of chapter 100. It's actually incredible. Auspicious beast summon. Kaichi, a horn that automatically homes in on its target. These are the abilities of Ino when he was fighting on the roof. Kaichi, a horn that automatically homes in on its target. It hurts if you get stabbed. It can even draw blood. Reiki, curse water that covers your body. Use it as a cushion for defense. If you cover your feet with it, you can move by sliding around. Kirin, drugs the brain. Feeling body pains? Magically gone like poof. For those of you who can't afford to take the day off. Beware the crash after the effects wear off. And then lastly, Ryu. No one has survived to tell the tale after fighting Ryu, according to Ino. Chapter 101, the Shibuya Incident, Part 19. And it cuts to Nanami, who's found Nita, and he's talking with Nobara.
So, Ichiji's okay?
I did what I could. And don't forget, he once trained to be a sorcerer as well.
Whew. Anyways, it seems your group was not aware of the situation with Gojo.
And Nita says,
we headed straight inside. That's probably why we didn't hear anything.
The fact that he's still hanging on even after being sealed is so like Gojo. Please wait here for rescue. I'll be joining the Zenin group and heading down to the basement 5th floor. And then Nobara doesn't say anything. And Nobara tries to say, me too. And then Nanami just goes, no. You need to be at least a grade 1 sorcerer for the coming fights. You'd only get in the way. Wait here. And then we have someone coming down the subway in front of Meimei and Uiui, and I know who it is. And then Meimei says,
my word, you?
Mei, it's been too long.
You have guts saying that after sending an assassin my way. Geto? Why is he alive? Did Gojo mess up last year? Are Gojo and Geto in cahoots? Not likely. I had my money set on you over Gojo, you know. You and your charming nihilistic smile. Gojo alone could kill every human in this country if he wanted to. There's no way he would be so petty as to join forces with Geto. The fact that I have to squash such potential is a shame. Truly a shame. This Geto must be a fake.
Mei, I feel the same way. To think that I have to kill a former senpai, and then the person known as Geto summons like a cursed spirit in front of him. Special grade disease curse. Smallpox deity. Unfortunately, I used all the cursed spirits I had at my disposal last year.
Cursed spirit manipulation. Maybe I'm wrong.
I assure you the quality hasn't suffered, though. I'd like to leave the humans at basement 5th floor as they are. I'll be waiting for you there by the rails. If you can exercise that, you can face me next. And then Geto just leaves the deity behind and then leaves it to face off against Mei and Ui Ui. And then there's like this massive feeling, and apparently it does its own domain expansion.
Domain expansion? This could be trouble.
And then the whole area shifts around into that of apparently this field of graves, something like that. And then Ui goes,
Sister! I'm trapped. A coffin?
And then the fists of the spirit slam down. Grave. And then it looks like this big stone grave falls right on top of Mei and surrounds her. And then the spirit goes 3, 2, and it's speaking in its own unintelligible language. And before it can get down to 1, the grave that Mei was stuck inside completely implodes. As she goes,
I wonder how long it's been since my life was last in danger, even for a moment.
And then all of a sudden, Ui Ui is just head over heels for the awesomeness that is his sister as he goes, Sister! And he starts tingling. It's weird. He's excited seeing, not in a weird way, he's excited to see his sister just be an absolute boss that he gets chills. Then it cuts to underground inside of the subway station and Yuji comes in.
Hope I'm going the right way. There's nobody here. Weren't there supposed to be a ton of people trapped down here?
And then Yuji runs face to face with Choso. And remember, Choso has a vendetta against Nobara and Yuji because they killed both of his brothers, since he's one of the Curse Wound's death paintings. He wants to kill both. He wants to kill Yuji. He was in cahoot. He agreed with teaming up with Mahito to kill Yuji in their little game, with Jogo saying, we'll turn Yuji into the vessel, we'll turn Yuji into Sukuna. But Choso is in the group that wants to kill Yuji. And out of that group, he's the first one to run into him. And then Yuji stops, and then Choso looks at him with bloodshot eyes as he thinks, Yuji Itadori, my brother's deaths, convergence. Blood manipulation convergence, a technique in which blood is compressed and condensed to its limit. The condensed blood of convergence is shot through a single point. The blood, now reinforced with cursed energy, is said to exceed the speed of sound. This secret blood manipulation technique is known as piercing blood. And then Choso shoots this blood through a narrow space in his hands at Yuji, and Yuji does his best to block it.
Crap, it's gonna get through!
And then Yuji diverts it off of him as Choso continues to shoot more blood at Yuji. Convergence. Piercing blood. And Yuji keeps dodging it. And then Yuji manages to get close to Choso. Double impact. What a strange technique. And then Choso begins to prepare to fight Yuji. The cut's deep. I can take this pain as long as I know it's coming. But I really can't move my right arm anymore. So I'll keep attacking with my left. And then Choso stops and he says, There's something I want to ask you. Did my younger brothers leave any final words with you? And that is the end of chapter 101. Scenes I was planning to address but forgot about until now. Part 3, summer uniforms. There isn't much of a difference between the summer and winter uniforms, although one is more breathable. After all, it's dangerous to not be dressed properly when you're a Jujutsu sorcerer. But if you put in a request for a customized uniform, they'll make it for you. Nobara didn't know this. So in the past, when it came to this winter uniforms and summer uniforms of Jujutsu sorcerers, they're pretty much kind of the same, except one is more breathable, but you can put in a request to get one more customized. And the reason why Nobara's looks exactly the same is that she didn't know that she could customize it the way she wanted to. Chapter 102, The Shibuya Incident, Part 20. So many. And I believe there's 24 parts, which means that we're getting closer. Yeah, Part 24 is the last chapter for this volume. A lot is happening right now. Chapter 102, The Shibuya Incident, Part 20. And Yuji says, "Younger brothers? I'm talking about the 2 you killed." And then Yuji remembers Kechizo and Esu. Well, Kechizu and Esso, I think. "Not really, but they did cry." And then Choso's face gets filled with rage, and then the black mark that's across his face starts to move as well, as he says, "Esso, Kechizu, take a good look. This is your older brother." And then Choso gets filled with rage. Then we cut back into the domain expansion of the disease smallpox deity that's facing off against Mei Mei, and it's counting down 3, 2, 1 again, but it keeps exploding and Mei Mei keeps bursting out of it. And with a smile on her face, she tries to swing where the cursed spirit is, but she keeps getting trapped inside of a coffin.
So cramped. I see.
1. Trapped in a coffin. Bury under a gravestone, start the count. And it explains that first she gets trapped inside of this metal coffin, and then the gravestone falls down on top of it and entombs it.
These are the conditions for the domain to take effect. It's a special grade disease curse. Based on my observations of the technique's activation, I'm probably right. If I can't escape this coffin within 3 seconds, I'll be infected by that disease and die.
And then it shows the tombstone falling on Mei Mei's coffin again, but she keeps bursting out of it.
This gravestone is the most annoying part. If I take a couple of hits from it, I won't be able to move freely. I'd rather not fight that pseudo-gato like that. Ui, are you okay?
And then Ui is in the back as he goes,
"Yes, sister." Looks like this technique can only hit one person at a time. It probably instinctively chooses the person with the stronger cursed energy inside the domain. A single crow got caught inside the domain. In order to finish him off, we're gonna have to make Ui the target, so I can have time to move freely. But even a single hit by the gravestone would be enough to kill Ui.
And then Mei Mei says,
Ui, are you willing to die for me?
And then Ui just looks at her and goes,
"It would be my pleasure if you'd allow me to, sister."
And then Mei disappears from right beside Ui, and Ui just erupts in cursed energy, which starts to draw the attention of the cursed spirit.
My sister suppressed her cursed energy at the same time I released mine. I get it now, sister.
And then Ui is entombed inside of the coffin. And then there's quiet. And then all of a sudden, the cursed spirit thinks something is wrong. And then the hands of the spirit get cut off completely. In an instant, by Mei Mei.
Did you think I only brought him along to be my pack mule?
And she cuts off the hands of the smallpox deity.
When my sister asked if I would risk my life for her, that meant I was allowed to use Jujutsu. New shadow style, simple domain.
Yo! So Yui can use Jujutsu as well, and he can even use simple domains. This was Mei's plan all along.
Yui is responsible for countering domains. I don't like being indebted to anyone. Taking care of the domain is his duty.
And then the hands of this cursed spirit grow back.
That's a special grade for you. They sure do heal real quick.
But it shows the crow that was there with Mei Mei flying completely through the body of the cursed spirit before it can even touch Mei Mei. And it leaves like a giant gaping hole in it. And this surprises the deity. And then it shows the crow getting infected with the smallpox, and then it falls over dead.
Do you know the quickest way to raise your level as a jujutsu sorcerer? That would be a binding vow with your life as the trade-off. That would be a binding vow with your life as a trade-off, right, sister? Exactly. Exactly. Big Sister's curse technique is black bird manipulation. The true value of this technique is bird strike. By forcing a crow to commit suicide, the trade-off is to erase the cursed energy limit of a typically weak bird, a crow, and hurl it at the enemy. Nobody except for Satoru Gojo has ever survived bird strike.
Wow. So Gojo's the only one who's ever came face to face with the Blackbird manipulation bird strike and survived. Anything else that's been hit by it, basically dead instantly. And then the domain completely disappears around them as the cursed spirit has now been exorcised.
Now then, everyone, time for the main act.
And it shows Mei Mei, swinging her axe around and them walking down the subway tunnel as in a whole, I might as well say, murder of crows just erupts out of the subway and starts to surround them all. As Mei Mei goes,
"Are you willing to die for me?"
And then as they're surrounded by all these crows, they come up on Gato, as he goes, "Not bad for a jujutsu sorcerer of this era." And he's surrounded by this snake eel dragon looking spirit. And that's the end of chapter 102. Scenes I was planning to address but forgot about until now, part 4. And this is back when Gato summoned the disease curse. Disease curse. A curse born from a fear of a disease such as the plague. I didn't want to bring diseases that actually exist into the story out of respect to those who may be or have been affected by them. Smallpox has been eradicated, so I thought it might be okay to use. This isn't about being allowed to use illnesses just because they no longer exist. Gato, and he has a question mark next to it, is actually lying here. This cursed spirit isn't a smallpox deity, but rather a smallpox hag. If Mei Mei wasn't more familiar with disease curses, she could have been tricked. And that's the little information there. Chapter 103, the Shibuya Incident, Part 21. And it cuts back to Choso versus Yuji. And he has multiple blood droplets around him, and he's clapping his hands. Preparing to shoot him at Yuji, as Yuji's thinking, "Darn it, he's making me keep my distance from him. That blood beam is too fast. I got a 50-50 chance of dodging it. If I guess wrong and take one to the head, I'll die. If that's the case, then at least..." And then Choso's eyes open as Yuji jumps off the ground. "I can dictate the timing of when he fires his shot." "Taking your feet off the ground, huh? You're obviously baiting me, but I'll play along." And then as Yuji is prepared, almost touching the ground, piercing blood. The arrow's right next to Yuji's head, but then Yuji dodges in an instant and immediately goes in to try and get to Choso. Not bad, but... He tries to slash at Yuji with more blood, but he dodges that too. "I knew it. This technique only moves fast at the beginning. As long as I dodge it, even if it forces me to change direction, I can still get in close. I'll turn this into a fist fight." But as he's doing that, blood droplets are around Yuji, and then Choso just says, "Supernova." And then Yuji's back is completely peppered by the floating blood droplets that Choso had waiting behind him. And it just shoots all over his back, and it shows like the smoking, smoldering effects of this blood manipulations, of this supernova that just hit Yuji in the back. And Yuji just gets hit with it massively. Gah! Blood manipulation supernova. The blood condensed by convergence is released and then shot out in every direction like buckshot. So it's basically a blood shotgun that he just erupted onto Yuji's back. Then he takes some blood in his hands and then turns it into a dagger and then stabs it into Yuji's foot. But Yuji, ignoring the pain, takes that same foot and tries to kick that same stabbed foot into Choso's own face while he's still trying to stab him. Fighting back with a stabbed foot. And he tries to cut Yuji again, but Yuji dodges and then brings his foot down onto the neck of Choso and sends him reeling. This is the first real big hit that Yuji's managed to hit Choso with. I gotta stop him from making those blood orbs he forms before the beam. And then it shows Choso already prepared to use the convergence again. Yeah, he can fire out the orb. He can fire without the orbs? Or does he still have some... And before he can do that, Choso stops and then uses his own fists for a technique as Yuji goes, a fake out? And then Choso goes, flowing red scale. And he hits Yuji in the chin, then sweeps his leg, and then delivers basically a one-sided discombobulate to the side of Yuji's face, sending Yuji careening into a nearby wall and with it like palming his head into a wall, causing it to crater. Yuji gets back up again as Choso is ready for another convergence. Convergence. Piercing blood. Point blank, mind you, directly in front of Yuji, just like 2 feet away from him. And Yuji already had a hard time dodging from a far off distance. But Choso uses convergence, piercing blood, in front of Yuji, and Yuji gets hit full force and sent far backwards. I was impatient. It wasn't condensed enough. Crap. This guy's strong. So it wasn't condensed enough, and therefore it didn't do as much damage. It was too shallow for even Choso to hit him with. Then the blood around Choso's nose, like the line, that's actually blood. It starts to flow off of him. As Mekamaru goes, hey, what's going on? And that's the end of chapter 103. Onwards to chapter 104. We are only 2 more chapters away from finishing today's volume. I am getting through these incredibly fast. Wow. Scenes I was planning to address but forgot about until now, part 5. Cursed Wound, Death Paintings, Blood. Choso, Eso, and Kechizu were born from the blood of a cursed spirit and human. They have a special attribute that allows them to transform cursed energy into blood. So unless they run out of cursed energy, they don't have to worry about dying of blood loss. Chapter 104, the Shibuya Incident, part 22, and Mekamaru chimes in saying, what's going on? Mekamaru? Where the heck were you this whole time? Conserving energy, there's still something I need to do. And then Choso just goes, huh? Choso, blood manipulation. You know it? Kamo uses the same curse technique. The 3rd year with the narrow... Kamo uses the same curse technique. The 3rd year with the narrow eyes? Then that means... I don't know its weakness. Blood manipulation is one of the treasure curse techniques passed down through the Kamo family line. Whether it's for close, mid, or long-range combat, it's prized for its overall balance. And Choso won't suffer from blood loss, meaning he effectively has no weaknesses. Well, thanks for the useful info! And as Yuji says this, his shoulder gets clipped by another round of piercing blood again. And Yuji manages to just narrowly dodge his head out of the way as the blood comes and hits an area next to him. He just barely managed to dodge it. Retreat to the bathroom. Huh? I'm not sure if this is a weak point, but I've got an idea. I'd say there's about a 10% chance this works. Sorry, but if this fails, please die gracefully. Well, aren't you nice? At this rate, you'll be gradually killed anyway. And then Yuji starts running for the bathroom. Gotta go right now. Gotta go. What an idiot, says Choso. You'll only find an elevator and bathrooms back there. No matter where you'll go, it'll be like shooting fish in a barrel. And then Choso stops as sounds start to come out of the bathroom as he goes, what's that sound? That guy defeated my brothers. He's no fool. And who was that second voice? There's something going on. I need to stay alert. Hey! Hey! You coming? And then Mekamaru calls out and says, Coward. Just like your brothers. And just like that, Choso immediately gets insulted, and at first he was being cautious, but as soon as he gets called a cow, as soon as his brothers get called cowards, knowing how they died, he immediately takes off going, "You're dead meat! You're just like them!" And then it shows Choso getting more and more progressively angry as he's trying to converge on where Yuji is. And then he runs up to a bathroom where all the water inside of the bathroom has completely erupted and it's all over the place. I think I know what Mekamaru's doing. Water? All three of you, so full of love for each other, and so easy to manipulate. And Mekamaru's in the background, and Choso uses piercing blood on the Mekamaru piece and completely destroys it. And Yuji's right behind Choso. Things are going well so far. It's all or nothing now. Things are going well so far. It's all or nothing now, Itadori. And then Choso turns around to defend himself. And then the entire area that they're in is just full of water everywhere. That was your last chance. You've got nowhere to run now, Itadori. Too bad for you. And then the blood that was around him starts to quiver a little bit, as apparently the blood that was remaining formed around Choso is now being affected by the... Ooh, I knew it. I knew this was the plan. It's now being affected by all the water that's around Choso right now. So his blood can't stay together because of all the excess water. What? Then we get an explanation. Blood manipulation temporarily halts the blood's coagulation in order to increase the technique's effectiveness. Convergence was dispelled? For that reason, Choso's blood dissolves in water more easily than normal blood. In addition, the blood, now exposed to water, was under osmotic pressure, and the red blood cells membranes began to tear. Red blood cells, which make up close to 45% of blood, becomes uncontrollable, and convergence was dispelled. Mekamaru's hunch was right. Right now, under these specific circumstances, Choso is unable to control blood outside his body. And then Choso gets more upset as the bloodlines around his face start to turn into like points, and he goes, "Flowing red scale. Stack." The inexperienced fighter Choso didn't understand what happened, but by keeping his cool, he could focus on manipulating the blood within his body. I don't understand the logic. There was no time to ask for the reason behind it. All I knew is, you're on my turf now. And then Yuji prepares himself as both Choso and Yuji prepare to fight hand to hand. And then they rush each other and they both start just like trading blows between the both of them. Ooh, I think this fight is gonna look beautiful when it's animated. No more long range techniques, just straight up bare knuckle brawling right here, and they're both trading blows between each other. Yuji's getting some hits, Choso's getting some hits. I can win, just when he thought the win was at hand, making sure it was not exposed to water, while making sure that it would not dissolve. Blood imbued and compressed to its very limit, pierced Itadori's liver. Wow! So even despite all this, Choso was still able to shoot off some pierced blood into Itadori, and it hit his liver. And that's the end of chapter 104. Scenes I was forgetting to address but forgot about until now, part 6. Side ponytail sword. The rings on the blade are missing because the blade can be switched out. It can even be... Have I started Mob Psycho? Yes. I started the first episode, already into it. I'm going to watch the second one a little later, but I still have a Metal Gear Solid stream to do today, and there's a lot to cover today. So once I cover 4 missions, or maybe 5, depending on how long it is, Once I cover more missions in Metal Gear Solid today during my stream, once I'm done, I'll go back to watching Mob Psycho. I'm already into it. I like it already. The rings on the blade are missing because the blade can be switched out. It can even be transformed into a cursed tool. Also, I got tired of drawing the rings, so I made up this reason after the fact. Chapter 105, The Shibuya Incident, Part 23. Blood manipulation. Blood meteorite. And it shoots straight through Itadori and comes out straight through his back. So it went straight through him. I was too careless. I didn't think there were any more projectiles. Huh? Where'd I get hit? This feels different than that time my gut was pierced. Crap, I think some vital internal organ got destroyed. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna And then Itadori plants himself in the ground. And then at first it seems like he feels like he's saying he's about to die, but he plants his stance, and then he thinks to himself, I understand my role. Turn fear into cursed energy, and clear my mind of all distractions. For the sake of Fushiguro, Kujisaki, Nanamine, and all my upperclassmen, I have to make sure they can get through here to Gojo-sensei. Even if it means dying, I'm gonna take him down. I don't have to be the one to save Gojo-sensei. 3 hits. That was only 3 hits. Excluding the ones I blocked, 3 hits. That was only 3 hits. Excluding the ones I blocked, he only hit me 3 times. Oh. This is Choso saying this. 3 hits. That was only 3 hits. Excluding the ones I blocked, he only hit me 3 times. Yet I took this much damage. And then it shows Choso starting to cover his fist in blood. Even though blood meteorite hardened blood, it doesn't have the speed or power of piercing blood. If that attack didn't catch him unawares, it probably wouldn't have pierced him. Typically, blood manipulation isn't used to harden blood like blood meteorite. Even blood edge is a process that involves sharpening and then strengthening the blood's lethality by rotating it at high speeds. Even as a sorcerer who uses blood manipulation, controlling all blood vessels is impossible. By hardening the blood within the body, the risk of sudden thrombosis develops. Come, says Choso as he covers one of his fists in blood. However, Choso determined that Itadori was the more severe threat. And as he covers his fist in blood, they continue to clash with one another. From the right. And then as they're trading blows, Yuji is blocking these abilities, blocking these attacks, and he's even anticipating them. A kick. And then as they're still fighting in this wet hole station, even after they're fighting, after all this, Yuji ducks inside of a bathroom and then locks it, and then Choso comes up right behind him, and he tries to go where Itadori is, and he still goes, huh? Hiding behind a wall after all that, and before he can even respond, Yuji bursts back outside of the stall with a full double-footed kick in order to, catch Choso by surprise. I'm not done yet. And they both keep fighting one another. This is going to be a beautiful fight when it's animated. He's staggered, and as he tries to go in for Choso, Choso completely stops it with his hand that's covered in blood. I haven't used my left arm since the first hit. He probably thinks I can't use it anymore. That's why I'll use my right as a decoy to land and then Delanda hit! And then Yuji, using his arm that was messed up, he hits into Choso, but Choso doesn't respond. What? That didn't feel right. And then Choso comes down on Itadori's shoulder with that blood-filled arm, and then it looks as if he chops off a piece of his shoulder, just like a little bit. And then Yuji gets punched straight in the body and sent flying to the other side of the bathroom. And then Yuji starts coughing up blood. And then Choso goes, too bad, as he shows his midsection. That's fine now. He shows his midsection that is kind of, I guess, deadened up, I think. Then it shows Yuji's falling to the ground, and all the water inside the bathroom has stopped pouring. And Choso goes, "Still breathing, huh?" And he walks up to Yuji and goes, "When you get to the other side, be sure to ask for my brother's forgiveness." And then Choso's heart beats, and we get narration. At that moment, a memory was born inside Choso's brain of a past event that never happened. And that's the end of chapter 105, onwards to the last chapter of today, 106. Scenes I was planning to address but forgot about until now, part 7. Supplementary info on blood manipulation. During blood manipulation, blood acts as if it's a single organ. For that reason, when using something like blood meteorite, the blood inside the body is also susceptible to hardening. Similarly, the idea of heating or freezing blood and using it is also extremely risky. Onwards to the last chapter of today, chapter 106, the Shibuya Incident, part 24. When you get to the other side, be sure to ask for my brother's forgiveness. Worthless. And it cuts to Sukuna as he goes, "To think you'd lose to such an inferior opponent." Huh? And then Choso starts sweating all of a sudden, and his heart starts beating. And then Choso starts sweating, and he starts grabbing his hair, and he's going like, and then he starts stumbling out of the bathroom, and he's holding his head like crazy. What is this? At that moment, a memory was born inside Choso's brain of a past event that never happened. And it's huge, and it's all of his brothers. Kechizu, Eso, Choso, and even Yuji are sitting at a table just eating and chilling. And Choso smiling, Eso smiling, Yuji smiling, and even Kechizu is smiling, including jars of the rest of the death wounds. As Yuji goes, "Here you go, big bro." What the heck is this? Why are you? Impossible. Why? And then it cuts to Yuji back inside the bathroom as the two girls that follow with Geto say,
There he is. He's alive, right? Yeah. Let's begin.
And it appears that they have a finger as they prepare to try and feed it to Yuji. I think, but it looks like it's in the shape of a finger. It's long and bandaged up. 10:20 p.m. Inokashira Line, Shibuya Station, Avenue Gate. And it cuts to Nanami with Maki and the Zenin dude. Satoru Gojo is sealed, correct? I can hardly believe it.
Satoru Gojo is sealed, right? I can hardly believe it.
Yes, however, even if he is just a fake, Geto seems to be involved. We can assume that he is the cause of the mystery.
I, for one, wouldn't mind letting things be and bearing witness to the decline of the Gojo family. Go home if you're not gonna help, says Maki. Go home? I'd say that's more for you, Maki. Am I right, Grade 1 Sorcerer Nanami?
Maki, as far as this is concerned, I agree with Naobito.
Pretty sure I'm more useful than a drunk.
You've been drinking?
Not even one sip.
And then he just breathes out drunk breath in front of Nanami. Maybe I was better off on my own. And as they come down the stairs, Maki and Nanami stop, and Maki goes,
Nanami.
Yes, I see it. And they see a cursed spirit out in the distance, and it's the same one that has been traveling with Geto, formerly Hanami, and Jogo this entire time, along with Mahito. It's standing there looking at him, kind of sweating a little bit, and it's hiding behind a pillar, kind of like Chopper from One Piece. Leave this to me, says Nanami as he takes out his cursed tool, and then the cursed spirit goes,
You too.
Oh, wait. They stop, and then all of a sudden, Naobito goes,
You two are a little too slow.
And then it shows the cursed spirit inside of like this phantom zone like disc or something. and it's floating in front of Naobito, and he then gears up a punch, and then punches directly through the frame and punches the spirit halfway across the subway station with one punch. And it hits it hits so hard that it goes flying in another direction. It goes flying into a pillar at the other end of the station where they're at. And Maki goes,
Did you see what happened?
"No. That was a curse technique, wasn't it? Even so, that was too fast." And then the cursed spirit is just like breathing out, and then it looks like it's about to vomit something, and it vomits out countless amounts of human bones. And Naobito goes,
Heh, you little. How many did you eat?
and then the spirit, it spits out a massive pile of human bones, so it ate a lot of people.
Jogo, Mahito, Hanami, Hanami. How dare you? How dare you kill?
Hanami! And then this creature, whatever it is, I guess it evolves because something jumps out of its skin. And then Naobito confirms,
No wonder you were so weak. You were just a curse wound.
and whatever was inside this cursed spirit is now this ginormous Cthulhu-looking monster with massive arms. It might as well be Cthulhu because it's got wings on its back, and it's got massive arms, and the upper half of its face has longer tentacles, and it looks tons more muscular than it did before. So I guess it evolved, and I guess it's preparing to fight against Naobito Zenin. And that, later, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Volume 12 of JUJUTSU Kaisen. Boy, things are ramping up. We got Nanami showing how strong he is. We got Yuji going up against Choso. Choso getting false memories of Yuji in his mind. The two twin girls are there in front of Yuji as it looks like they're preparing to feed him a finger of Sukuna. And then the cursed spirit that's been traveling around with Geto, Hanami, and Jogo and Mahito this whole time, I guess evolves because we find out it's a cursed wound, and it gets mad and upset about Jogo, and it gets mad and upset about... Wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Something that it said... Oh, it just said Hanami. It gets mad and upset... It gets mad and upset about Hanami being killed by Gojo, and that it evolves from its like larva state and transformed into like a buff Cthulhu-like monster. But we're gonna have to see where Jujutsu continues for us on next Thursday. Also later on, well, actually, hold on. We're going to have to see where things go for the Shibuya incident right now because, and apparently, Naobito Zenin is crazy strong because he put this cursed spirit inside of like this Phantom Zone like picture frame, and then he punched right through it and then punched the spirit halfway across the subway station, and Nanami and even Maki couldn't even see what just happened because it happened in the blink of an eye. So the old dude, he may be drunk, but he's crazy strong. So I can't wait to see where the story of Jujutsu goes next. Like I said, after I eat some lunch and I'm well rested, after I eat some lunch, I'm going to boot up Metal Gear Solid, and we're going to continue my stream of that. And I'm looking forward to playing more Metal Gear Solid because I kind of haven't been able to put it down ever since I picked it up. I've been finding high-ranking soldiers everywhere, but I'll keep my conversation about Metal Gear for Metal Gear streams. All I can say now is I'm incredibly enjoying Jujutsu, and let's not gloss over Mei and her unique abilities, and Uyui's unique abilities, and how they got rid of the special grades. I am enjoying everything about Jujutsu right now, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next volume. I got 4 more volumes before I fully catch up on the paperbacks, and then I can move on to the actual chapters themselves on Viz. I already got it saved as a favorite, so I am looking forward to seeing where I go from there. Oh my goodness, I'm enjoying being able to do this so much, everyone. Just being able to sit here and read to you all with my voices and everything. I enjoy it. I love this. My God, I love this. But all I can say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoy what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. My goodness, I didn't think I was going to be this into Jujutsu, but this series just keeps proving to me that I just need to keep reading because it's that good.